It was past midnight, and the rain was falling hard. David's hands were shaking as he dug into the wet ground behind the old cabin. His clothes were soaked, his face covered with mud and tears. He dropped a small silver ring into the hole, whispering, "Forgive me, Claire." Then he covered the hole with dirt, believing no one would ever find out. For years, David and Claire were the kind of couple everyone admired. They built their business together, laughed at the same jokes, and held hands in every photo. But pictures can lie, because behind those perfect smiles, something dark had started to grow. Claire noticed how David began coming home late, how he smiled at his phone when he thought she wasn't looking, how he smelled like another woman's perfume. One night, she followed him, and when she saw him with her best friend, Emily, her heart broke into pieces she could never put back together. But Claire didn't shout. She didn't cry. She went home that night in silence and started planning. Weeks later, she told David they should spend a weekend together at their old cabin, just like the early days. He agreed, thinking it was her way of healing. They cooked dinner, drank wine, and laughed again, like strangers pretending to remember love. But just when David started to believe she had forgiven him, Claire's hand slipped from the table. Her eyes rolled back. She collapsed. David shook her, calling her name again and again, but she didn't move. Panic took over. He couldn't go to the police, not after everything. In fear, he carried her lifeless body to the woods, dug a shallow grave, and buried her with trembling hands. He thought it was over. Months passed. David sold their home, married Emily, and tried to start a new life. But peace never came. It started small flowers on his doorstep, Claire's favorite kind. Then came the letters, short, cold sentences written in her handwriting. "You forgot to bury the truth." At first, he thought it was a cruel prank. But when he checked the security cameras one night, he froze. Standing in his backyard, drenched in rain, was Claire, alive, staring straight into the camera. From that night, David's world began to fall apart. His company collapsed after someone sent private files to his investors. The police started asking questions about Claire's disappearance. And then, one morning, they showed him a video, a recording of him digging in the woods. When they came to arrest him, David shouted, "She's dead. I buried her." But then a voice came from behind the officers. Calm, cold, familiar. "Bury me again if you can, David." He turned, and there she was, Claire, alive, dressed in black, watching him as he broke down in disbelief. She had recorded everything, every lie, every step, every secret. As the officers took him away, she whispered, "You buried your guilt, not me." Months later, Claire sat in a small cafe, staring out the window, finally at peace, until someone slid into the seat across from her. It was Emily, the same best friend who betrayed her. Emily smiled softly and said, "You got him locked away, but you forgot something, Claire. You didn't win. You just did my job for me." Then she stood, walked away, and left Claire frozen. Realizing the truth, she was never the only one planning revenge. And for the first time in her life, Claire felt fear again, because the woman he thought he buried was now the woman someone else had buried inside her.